Hey
morning,
there.
Julie.
Hi. How
How-
are you? I'm great. Hold on. Can you hear me okay with this
Yeah.
microphone? You guys? Yep. Okay. Just making sure. Okay. Hi.
Hi. I really want to know about a really busy last couple of years with Hallmark and you and the movies and the premieres and the traveling. So I really want to appreciate your flexibility and make a time work for the schedule for you, Julie, to come on to the Cat Chat podcast.
Thank you. I'm not quite as busy this year. It's not that was pretty crazy. So it's definitely more
Oh
normal.
yeah. Believe it or
Yeah.
not, I did all of the podcasting, do all of the premieres, the red carpet,
Yes.
the event. I was like, whoo!
Yeah. And so I'm not on the cruise. I don't think they're bringing the writers onto the cruise, so I'm not doing that. I'm I might be doing something else in the fall. I'm not sure yet. But that's okay. It was very hectic and it was great fun. I had the best time doing all the, I don't know how the actors do their hair and makeup. Every time they have to do their hair and their makeup and their clothes, and it's just for look, I go to work every day and my hair is up and I'm wearing yoga pants and I don't put on makeup unless I'm going to be on a podcast. So it's I can't imagine being an actor and having to go through that every single day that you're working. It's a lot. It sounds glamorous, but it's hard. It's just hard.
Definitely. I can't imagine like how much work they have to put into media appearances.
Yeah.
Well, not so much about podcasts because it's a little bit personal, more comfortable, feel at home kind of
Yeah.
thing. But all of that, I was just, huh, thank you.
Yeah, and it's and I it's great. I feel very fabulous when I do it, but then like I remember coming back from the Chiefs movie premiere, just got in bed. I don't think I moved for 2 days. Just but it was so fun. It was so great.
I'm sure. Before we get into all of the movies we've been writing, I want to know a little bit more about your background. What made you become a movie writer or a script writer or some kind of concept of writing? Was it always something you wanted to do?
So growing up, I was always known as the writer, but when I started, there was just no, if you weren't from Los Angeles or you didn't know anybody in the entertainment industry, it wasn't something that was on my radar as a career at all. And there's no, and I'm aging myself, but there was no internet really to find out all the things out that you want to find out. So I knew I was going to be a writer. I just didn't know what kind. I was also doing stand-up comedy at the same time as I was in college. And then after college, um, at the time, I thought the best way to go about this was to do advertising copywriting and just do kind of funny ads and funny stuff like that. Um, so right, sorry, right out of college, I got myself a job at an ad agency in San Diego, and was very, it was during kind of the downsizing time of the 90s, 1990s, and it was great, and I was enjoying myself. But one day, and I was doing stand-up comedy a little bit on the side, and then one day I went into work ad agency and I got laid off because it was just that whole downsizing thing, and I was the last person hired, first fired. And then the same afternoon, I got dumped by my college boyfriend of 2 years, and that all happened within 4 hours of each other. Um, that happened. Okay, so that happened, and then I was supposed to go to the Comedy Store in La Jolla in San Diego and do stand up, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to be funny. I'm not feeling very into this right now. But something made me, I think it's God, made me go. And I went, and it turned out that the headliner was a guy who was a writer on Roseanne, that show. And he was he said, "Wait, so you're a writer and you're funny and you're a girl?" Because apparently, at the time there weren't that many female comedy writers. He's like, "You should move to Los Angeles and write for sitcoms. You would get hired immediately. You should do that." And that was just this moment of a light bulb going off. And I waited tables for a few months in San Diego, saved up, and moved to Los Angeles. And then from there, I did find out that there was this job called writer's assistant, where you are in the writer's room of a sitcom and you're basically taking notes and getting the scripts together, but you're really getting an education on comedy writing. It's the best possible education. No college can teach it. You have to be in that room. Um, and I just kind of figured some stuff out. I wrote some sample scripts. And then I think about 3 years in is when I first got my first sitcom writing job. Did that, did sitcoms, did some animation, did Disney Channel, did a bunch of, it was mostly half hour sitcoms. And then during the first strike, back in the I don't even remember what year it was, 2007, I want to say, like the old strike. Um, I wrote, I always loved romantic comedy, so I had time to write one, and I did. And I sold that one to Disney, and then I wrote another one and sold it to Paramount. And those two scripts got me in the door for writing a movie for Disney Channel, which I did, and then I wrote a movie for Lifetime. That was my first TV movie. It was called I Me Wed on Lifetime, and then that eventually, many years later, finally got me in the door of Hallmark. And once I started doing that, and just found that's where I'm the happiest is doing this exact genre, and found my just found my place there, and I haven't done any kind of other writing since then, which is fine. And I would stay at Hallmark as long as they keep wanting me to write for them. It's been great. So that's the short, long version.
Disney, Lifetime, Paramount, now about Hallmark. It's
Yes.
fascinating to see about these people I chat with and interview, just like get some background information to get to know to them more. And everybody was like, struggling a little bit. I'm gonna go check out LA and see how it is because I know it's a challenge because LA is a huge melting pot. And when there's all
It's crazy. My first apartment, there were literally in my driveway drug dealers and hookers. It was insane. And helicopters, the police helicopters coming by and shining the light in my window. It was, and I was by myself. I did not know anybody. Really, I didn't know anybody. Um, Everyone has a different way that they got into it. I noticed of how they broke in, or how they got, how they ended up in Los Angeles. Um, the way I broke in doesn't exist anymore, which was faxing my resume to all the TV shows, and I had a beeper, and it was a totally different world. Again, I'm aging myself.
all kinds of different with all of their journeys that I've done. Some got in, easy started right away. Some just did some odd jobs and then found their way into fascinated to see that LA or Hollywood or San Diego, those big cities are like the melting pot of booming your career as a writer, as an actor, as a musician, anything basically.
Right.
Really fascinating to learn about different kinds of journeys starting off at LA, California.
Yeah, so San Diego and LA are just, I know they seem like they're close, but they're really not. They're really not that close together. So it's a totally
Right.
different world. Um, I almost went to UCLA, and I think if I had gone there, I probably would have figured it all out 4 years earlier. But I went to UC San Diego instead, and everything worked out the way it was supposed to in my mind. Um, and then I moved to, and then eventually, because um, Hallmark has been so steady and great, I was able to finally move to the East Coast, which is where my husband and I always wanted to move and live. So now we are in Connecticut, and it's great. I love it.
Nice. With the writing, did you ever thought about outside about like I know the writing movies, the stories. Have you ever thought about like short stories or any some kind of writing piece other than movies at some point?
Well, I used to write um, sports feature articles. So there was part of me that was because I'm really into football and sports. There was a part of me that was going to be a sports writer, but like a sort of a feature sports writer, not a news sports writer. Um, that was so long ago. I don't know if I could even do it now. As far as like short stories and books and novels and anything else, I will admit freely that I am terrible at descriptive writing that is not dialogue. I
Oh,
would
that's so
say I
weird.
I would say that my scripts, if you took out all the dialogue, are boring. It's all so I don't put a lot into the stage directions because I know that most of the people don't read them anyway. And I'm just not great at that. And so writing a novel to me would be torture.
That's really interesting because for myself, I started writing a book. I'm writing a memoir of my life. And I had that idea back in the Caribbean area, but I put it in the back burner because during that time, my life was just like chaos because I had my kids home, virtual school, and I was home, virtual teaching. So I was literally like in the room. My
Yeah.
son was over in the next room with the kitchen. My daughter was in her bedroom.
Yeah, that's how it was here.
Deficient. So I was like, I can't do my book right now. So I'm just going to put it right there. I have it in there that I think about. I want to say last April last year. I sat down. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see how that goes. I just started typing and typing. And then a few months later, whatever, I was like, I want to write a script. So it's hard for me to write a script because I'm terrible
Yeah.
at dialogue. And a little bit of description that he entered the door and the lady is sitting at, I don't know, terrible at
Yeah,
that.
that's the part I'm not good
I
at
won't
is
ask that.
yeah. That's the part. I mean, that's everybody has their strengths. I will say though, Tracy Andreen, she's another big writer at Hallmark. She's written many wonderful movies, is a good friend of mine. She has written a wonderful fiction novel, a YA novel that's fantastic. So not every screenwriter is terrible at descriptive writing. I mean, it's always been that way. I would always get told, show not tell, and then I couldn't think of what to show. So my strength has always been verbal, and I think that once the writing kind of starts to slow down, I would like to try and do a career or do some more public speaking. I started slowly building that resume. I really enjoy doing that a lot, especially when there's a back and forth with an audience. That was my favorite part of the cruise was the panels and the Q&A that we did. And just I've done a few talks. One of them is about how, like we were talking about, how like the worst day of your life, which was getting laid off and dumped, can actually lead to the entire reason that what you're meant to be doing. So that's always a theme that I like to go back to. Because if those two things hadn't happened at the same time, I might not have had the courage to just leave. But at that moment, there was nothing keeping me in San Diego. But if one of those two things hadn't happened, I might have chickened out,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
who knows
That's
where I'd.
funny. Right. I should find it really interesting when different writers or authors or whatever and see how their mind works when it comes to writing because some people are really good at just writing, descriptive writing, actual story or novel. Some of them have really good writing but more dialogue. So I was just like, okay, so I
Right.
had an idea, a seed, and a plot. Now I should have to like expand that. I'm trying to start with a little description and then bring on the dialogue. So I'm not there yet, but eventually I will be there. I'm really interested to meet people and see where they are with their creative strengths or weakness and compared to different writing styles, whether they're a screenwriter or a novelist or published publisher.
Right, right. I've noticed, so I watch a lot of the Korean TV dramas, and I love them. They're like 16-hour Hallmark movies. They're fantastic. So what I've noticed is they're all subtitled because I don't like to watch when it's dubbed. I like read the subtitles, and you really can tell good writing from bad writing just looking at the subtitles. So I always tell people like that's another way to really learn that craft is to watch a Hallmark movie, turn on the subtitles, and read it. And it just depends on I guess whoever's doing the subtitles. I'm sure you are very expert in that. It just always it kind of sometimes depends on who's doing them as well. But and then reading as many actual scripts as possible is the other good way to go. Um, and yeah, that's the only way to really strengthen dialogue is have dialogue with people and read those scripts and see how it really looks on the page. Because I tend to use a lot of punctuation in my writing because I want the reader to pause when I want them to pause. I use a lot of ellipses. I use a lot of dashes. One
Right.
thing that's one thing that's funny is I've heard that ChatGPT uses a long dash, and
Yeah.
that's everybody's way of telling if you're using ChatGPT. Well, I use those. I've been using those for years, so I had to go into Microsoft Word and undo them and say don't autocorrect and have to use my normal dashes or else people are going to think. I mean, ChatGPT can't do dialogue. It can't write. It's not good. It's like a if you ask ChatGPT to do a Hallmark movie, it would just be a bad Hallmark movie. Um, for right now, it's a little scary. Like maybe in 10 years, I don't know.
No, who knows? I tried that out. But, hey, ChatGPT, can you create a Hallmark movie? And I tell them my idea. Let's see how well they do. But yeah, really interesting because yeah, yesterday I had a podcast interview with one of the Hallmark directors, Colin Dave, and he was talking about how movies or technology have some kind of accessibility for caption or subtitles or some sort of thing. I told, well, first of all, for me as a deaf person and a deaf and holy people teacher, I have to be very careful with like YouTube because sometimes most YouTubes are not accurate and they will have the wrong
Oh, yeah,
information,
that's true.
the wrong word. So
Right,
I have
right.
to look at who created the video, who's talking, and the back and make sure it fits. If it doesn't fit, I can't use the or I will
Yeah.
show it. So it's really fascinating. And sometimes with Hallmark movies, I will like read their lips out the sheet ahead of the caption or the caption way on
Oh,
they're talking. So it's really interesting. Yeah,
that must be, that's actually so interesting because are you, if they're ahead of the caption, then you're almost getting a spoiler like
right.
5 seconds earlier, and it must change. It must change the way that you view the movie completely. That's really interesting. I wonder if they must contract with a company. I don't think they do it automatically, right? They must be an actual person behind it, I would assume. Um,
Yeah, I
Oddly
think so.
enough,
I'm not sure, but yeah, sometimes with the movie they have ADR, so it's a little bit of a challenge of trying to keep up with the time. Yeah, with the wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I had to go back. I'm like, my computer's not working. What's going on? And then, oh, okay, whatever.
one time a producer was watching a movie of mine as sort of just to see how it was, and she was so confused because she said, was that a style choice that every time anything happened, there was a voiceover describing the scene? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? And it turned out that she'd watched the one that had the for the blind description,
Yeah, they had that. I thought at first I
which
was
they had.
try that. I thought, oh no, no, I don't want to hear that. I just want the
No.
caption.
And I said, well, I like that you gave me the benefit of the doubt that I did that on purpose, but no, that was not that was not the intent. But I didn't even know that that was a thing until then, that you could just
Yeah,
get
it
that
was
one.
an
Yeah. So,
option.
yeah, yeah. So, um, but it's funny because the subtitles on the Korean shows, they get credit like this. They every time at the end of the show they say subtitles by this team of people at that channel, and they get full credit because they take it really, really seriously. Because, and
That's
I've actually picked,
cool.
it's cool, but I've actually picked up a little Korean because I'm watching it and then I see what they're saying. So I have learned a few words of Korean just by watching subtitles.
That's really cool. I mean, that never really, I don't have to watch closely. I mean, almost sometimes they never really give credit for whoever the subtitle or actually created subtitles for
Right.
foreign movies or Korean shows. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different culture.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Julie, we're gonna dive into the blockbuster movie of the year last year, which was the holiday touchdown, Cheap Lobster. I mean, I'm curious about how did you come up with the idea or the story, what was the process, and then boom, Hallmark got involved, and it was a huge thing. I mean, literally, it was like a blockbuster movie, other than the three wild men and a boy.
Yes, yes. Well, Hallmark got in touch with they're the ones that brought me in to do the to bring in an idea because they already had the deal going with the Chiefs. Um, I based the idea on my personal experience in football, which is that it was a family affair, and it's and my best memories growing up were going to games with my dad, and then also how insane I am with superstition. Um, with good luck charms and lucky hats and lucky jackets and all that. So those two things are where I started from. Um, and then I just kind of I don't remember how I got to where I got with the story, but that's sort of the jumping off point, was sort of the superstition and the family and what can we do with that. And then I went from there. Um, yeah, so you never know if the idea is going to hit with them or not, but luckily it worked. So, and I pretty much used all my football, everything I knew, everything I cared about football is in that movie. So I don't know if I could ever write another football movie, but so yeah, I left that all there. I left it all on the field, as they say.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really good movie. I mean, the Chiefs were on the Packer band. So was like, oh, come on, let's do something with the Packers. After I watched the movie, I thought, like, my Packers are on
Yeah,
TV. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing with the Packers, and
yeah,
unfortunately, they lost that game. But I think it was the perfect movie. I think they had new wrote and created perfect dose of everything. It was not all about football. It was football to tradition with family and like family dynamics because Atlanta lost the hat. And the film like,
right.
oh, it's okay. Support them with family. We enjoy football and we just, show the love of it. So it
Mm,
was a perfect dose of everything, whether it's like uh, football or romance or
yeah.
that. It was beautiful and
No, thank you.
luckily it was a hit. A hit. I mean, everybody was just like, some negative
I mean, there's always negative
whatever.
people. It's
Don't
like I
understand
don't even
football
I
or you don't understand Hallmark, then it's not for you. Go
but I
away.
tried, yeah, I mean, I tried to make it accessible to all kinds of people and not just football people. So that's where the character of Derek really came in handy because this is a guy who's not a football person who becomes one. When I met my husband many, many years ago, he was not a football person, and I said, "Look, on our second date, I said, listen, um, if you want to date me or anything, hi, there he just walked in. Uh, Yes. So if you want to date me, you got to get on board and not only learn football, but you have to be a 49er fan or else it's just not going to work. So slowly but
Definitely.
surely, he slowly got to understand the game. And then as he's, over the years, as he understood it more and got more into it, especially after we had our son and he's so into it, now it's a family thing again. It's a tradition again. And I love passing that on to my son. Actually, we just bought our tickets because the 49ers are playing in New York or in New Jersey this year. So we're gonna take a little road trip, go see them play. And so it's just really special. We go every year, we travel to one game to see them.
My husband is a Buffalo Bills fan,
So he'll
the
be happy
Green
this
Bay
year.
fan. So when Hallmark announced that they were doing a bird video, I was like, hello. What about Green Bay?
I know, I
I would
know.
drive up to Green Bay. I would be an extra or something because I would have to be part of that movie because I was actually born in Green Bay. So I have
Yeah.
green gold in me
I think
growing up my entire life. So I really enjoyed that movie. It was really special and it was really
thank you.
personal, like you said, with the family and with the tradition. I mean, I don't really have do any like kind of political position, but I will like wear the same dark. I'm not
That's
wear the great same dark, and I will wear like a really good jersey or something. But there was one game I wore a jersey, and that player didn't really play for the Packers anymore. And my husband did not why to wear that jersey. I mean, he doesn't play for Green Bay anymore. I was like, he's my favorite player. So, no, whatever. So everybody have one, their superstition, their tradition.
yeah.
So I go to Green Bay games every year. I mean, last year was the first time I only went to one game, but normally I try to go 3 to 4 games with my husband if
Oh,
we can,
great.
because it's so much fun. I mean, if your team plays Green Bay in Green Bay, come on over.
I
Fun.
would love to go to a game and go to that stadium. That is on my bucket list for sure, is to see a game there. I really want to. It's
Yes,
maybe next year, but um
it's a really
last year we
great
flew.
stadium.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's you have to go. It's like going to Fenway Park for baseball. You have to visit if you're a fan of football, you have to go to Lambeau. So I'll get there eventually. Maybe, well, my son may be applying to University of Wisconsin, so if he ends up there, then
That night,
we'll
because
we'll
Lambeau, I mean, when you touch Lambeau, it is just special. Whether you're a Green Bay fan or not, that place is just very deep, very friendly. I
yeah.
mean, once I go to a couple of games with rivals, like Chicago Bears or the Vikings, especially the Bears, I would be like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the other teams, I would be like, okay, we'll play Bear, I'll be cool, I'll be friendly. But with the Bears,
It's
I'm like, the other way around, I'm not gonna be nice. Look,
there are some stadiums that I would not take my kid to watch a game as a visitor, like Philly. Like apparently it's just really hard to be a visiting fan
yeah.
at an Eagles game, so I'm not going to do that. But I hear that the Green Bay fans are very nice and the Buffalo fans are very nice. So actually, and I will say the Chiefs fans were so nice that we were. I said, well, I'll just I could be a Chiefs fan. I think unless they were playing against us because they were so friendly and everyone in the stands there was no one fighting, there was no one yelling, there was no um animosity. It was amazing. And sometimes even at a 49er game, like I went to one in Los Angeles when they played the Rams a couple of years ago, and there was a huge fight right in front of me and between a Niner fan and a Rams fan, and I was on a viral video, me watching like calling for security on this viral video of this fight between two fans because I had already told security like you guys need to come down here. There's about to be a fight. And then so me on the video, I bet you've seen it. I'm like, I told you.
That's crazy, crazy. That's why they're clear on some stadiums. I mean, the only game I've been to was Green Bay. I haven't really gone to any like away game, the local like Chicago or Detroit. I mean, no. I'm happy and safe in my little Green Bay back. But like
Yes,
you
yeah.
said with the Franklin Stadium, like Kansas, Philly, maybe. So
But
yeah.
the Giants aren't good right now. So what happens is when the 49ers play a team that's not that great, I can tell you right now, the entire stadium in New Jersey is going to be 49er fans that live on the East Coast. It's like they call it an invasion game. And it's the best. It's so fun. It even happens in Los Angeles too. Like most of the stadium was Niner fans. So it's really fun. But growing up and going to the games, that's really what led me to really feel this movie really personally.
Okay, now we're gonna dive into the Barcelona movies. I had the privilege to have Ashley Williams on the podcast earlier, and she was telling me like the story, like had an idea, she pitched it to do, and then boom, it became two great movies. I really enjoyed the movie. My dad lived in Spain. He lived I think north of Madrid. So if I had knew like the schedule or the film, I'd be, hey dad, go check it out because that my Hallmark people down there. But it was too late. The movie aired. So I'm curious about how the process worked between you and Ashley to make the movie come to life with Alison Sweeney, Alexander, and Miguel.
Well, really, as far as the writing goes, we had the very small bit, the log line basically, the small idea, and then I expanded that, and then I kind of would talk to Ashley and Allie. We kind of I would send them something, and then they would give me their feedback, and then eventually we pitched it to Hallmark, all three of us, sort of in the same on the same Zoom, and then after the pitch, I sent sort of a little bit more expanded document to them about what it was. And then once they put it into development, it's really on me at that point to really expand it all the way. And we're talking going from like a little idea to 15-page outline and then turning that into the script. And Ashley and Allie had, feedback for the outline and feedback for the script. And it was really a nice creative process. We all seemed like we were on the same page and the same wavelength. So there was never really any problem. It was all really positive experience to write those. And we didn't expect them to say that they wanted a second movie. So I kind of had to think of that one just out of nowhere. And I just did.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't even remember how I came up with like saffron and all that stuff. Um,
Yeah, I really
I don't
believe
remember. I don't know. I
never
don't
thought it would
remember
be like
how.
two movies like without watch the first movie. I'm like, two of them. Oh, okay, we'll see how it plays out. So I like how they focus on one. Like the first movie was all about Erica trying to like write a book and actually was like behind. She had no idea because the different language and the transcription of the book. So if you're in a different language, of course there'll be more description as you were putting more into the book than she was supposed to be. And then
Right.
when we focus down to the second movie, we kind of like shift off to Anna with her journey, with her dream, food
Mhm.
culture, and all of that. So I've been really
Right.
amazed how one idea blew up into two movies, and they were outstanding for different reasons.
Oh,
One
thanks.
was outstanding for this reason, the other one was outstanding for this one. So I really enjoyed both movies, and kudos for you for coming up with an idea on the
Thank
fly.
you.
The second movie.
But what's funny is I was watching the movie, the second one, and I watched it at the same time. I was actually on an airplane watching the second one, flying back. Where was I going? Where were we? Oh, we were flying to Los Angeles for a family visit. I was watching it, and I was laughing because in the script, it's supposed to be a village in the middle of nowhere that no one knows how to get to unless you happen to go down this one path. But then there's all these shots of like the village on the water, and there's an entire, there's a whole across whatever body of water that is, was a lot of stuff, boats, buildings. Like obviously, this was not a hidden village. So I was laughing about that because it was gorgeous. It looked beautiful, but in my mind, I was thinking, well, obviously, people have to know where this village is. It's right there. Like people across the water could be like, "Hey, what's that?" Oh, that's the secret village that no one knows about. So it's just that was funny to me. So that's an example of sometimes when you can't exactly get the location that you think you're going to get, and you find somewhere that's really beautiful and just adapt. The director will adapt to it. And I'm sure I'm the only one who caught it, but it made me chuckle on the plane and when I
I'm
watched
gonna
it.
have to watch that again, but that movie was hilarious. The
Oh,
chemistry,
thanks.
the banter, the line, the plot. I probably have watched both of these movies maybe 4 or 5 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
gonna walk back to back, trying to like catch new things every time I interview Ashley, Miguel, and now Julie. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch them. Oh, I see what you're talking about, though. I've watched a lot of Hallmark movies, and I should like to have a little bit of a dunk or have fun. So I would take a skin, a funny skin, or an impossible skin. I would take a clipping and I would break it up, and then I would act in it, and I put it in together. Everybody gets the kick out of all the weird. I did one
I
weird.
think I've seen them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
I did
funny.
one with the restaurant scene. One actually was trying to speak Spanish for estoy bien. And then Miguel was like, you've been calling everybody hot for the whole weekend. It was like a twist of words. And I did another game where Javier go to the bedroom. And he was like, I am so sorry, but you have to leave now. And Anna was like, huh? And then the family comes in the bedroom. So I did
Yes.
a
I
little
have
bit
to
of
watch that one. I have to see it. I'm so
it.
bad
So
about
much funny.
I'm never online. That's the problem. Like I'm always just so busy that I have to watch that one. I know I saw the first one. It was really
So,
funny.
on my page, on both of my pages, or on my YouTube channel,
I
so
think it was that,
slowly
yeah.
I'm uploading it. But oh my God, everybody was like, oh, you have to do this. Oh, you have to do this. Yesterday, I made a skin from Aaron Krakow and Brandon Penny from the movie The Wedding Cottage. Everybody was like, oh, I can't. You keep making me laugh. I'm like, well, that's the point. I should take one skin, make a fool out of myself. So a lot of people really enjoying the recreation, and I would throw a little bit of something. Just
Yes.
I love it how you did that.
I
So
take that as a compliment. If anyone does anything like that, I take that as a high compliment.
Stephanie, what are some of the challenges that come to you when writing a script or if you had a deadline? So what were some of the challenges, like if something's not working or you have a writer's block? How do you move past that?
Um, well, the problem with the writer's block if you're a professional screenwriter is that you really kind of can't have that. That's not, that's like a doctor saying, I can't do surgery. I'm just not feeling it. Right. So it's that at a certain point, you just have to power through whatever's happening. And eventually, if you just write something, you can always go back and fix it. But I always just try to write something and get something on the page, on the screen, and then I can go back and my favorite thing is the writing a first draft, which is I'm actually doing right now on another movie, is painful almost because it's just everything you have in your head, you have to just get it out. Um, it's more fun for me to go back through it and fine tune. I call the first draft the vomit draft. I can't wait to see what the sign language is for vomit. Oh, she spelled it.
True. I mean, you got it all out. You got it all
I'm
out.
like, wait, I almost got it. I almost got it.
But you did
I
really
almost got
good.
it. Wait,
C.
VOMIT.
Look, good job.
I remember the alphabet I learned as a kid,
Nice.
and I still remember it. That's all. And then I learned one thing. I learned football. Right? Is that football?
And
Is this game?
touchdown.
Is this game?
That,
Game? Okay, I remember that. That's it.
the name.
There you go. Yeah. But that's what. Yes, I do remember because my next door neighbor's cousin um, uh, was teaching us because there were a couple family members who were deaf, so they were trying to teach us so we could play with her cousin. So we had to spell everything pretty much, but it was nice to learn. There's actually a huge university or a school here in Connecticut in West Hartford. I think it's the American School. It's like
Yeah,
the biggest
American school for
school.
the deaf.
Yeah, that's here. Yeah. So there are it's a huge community here.
Yeah. Same with Connecticut and Washington, D.C. I mean, I
Mhm.
went to college. I got it down to the birthday.
Oh wow,
That's
did you?
the big birthday to Washington, D.C. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah.
That's the
I mean,
Yale.
one thing I was culture shock because I grew up oral. I didn't learn sign language until third or fourth grade because I
Oh
went to
wow.
a deaf camp and I met a lot of deaf friends who first language was sign language. I knew English, exact English, the word for word. And then as I grew up, I started to like try to shift my language to American Sign Language, which is like one, a shortcut.
Oh
So when I went to college, I took off my earrings, I turned out my voice, and I just like completely immersed and
wow.
zeroed in, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Because there's all different levels of hearing ability there, right? So yeah,
Yeah, but
that's
I was, I
amazing.
mean, I grew up having both earrings, but then when I was in high school, I realized both earrings don't work. My lap, and I have earrings, but I can't hear anything. I mean, if someone talking to me or I hear back on nothing with my earring on, battery,
Oh
nothing. But my right, I can have a little bit of hearing. I have 95% hearing loss, so I have like 5%
so
with my earring.
like
But
turned up
without
all the
my,
way.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, fully that. Without my earring, I can hear shouting even, I don't know, 5 feet, maybe 10, but 5 feet I could hear or feel vibration without my earring. But other than that, if my husband in the other room talking and my earrings up, no, no.
No, nothing.
So, yeah.
What does it sound like at a football game?
Oh, so loud. I mean, I love it. It's so loud. I'm like here
Yeah.
and now. I'm hearing all these stuff, but I don't rely on anything. But it's not nice because when I'm at the football game, Green Bay at Lambeau started the protection. So I'm like, what is the play? So I had to learn every single time for the play. So I'm like,
Yes, you do. Right.
faster,
Right.
faster. Well, sometimes I would actually call the play or the penalty before the rush. I would have Dr. Paul, stop right there. Put the play. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Well, we do that. We do that at home. We do that at home.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, my husband, I'm like, I could retire
Holding.
from a teacher. I could be retired from a teacher and go to Green Bay. I'm like the only time I will be a rock in at Green Bay. I don't do travel. I will be the first job referee in Green Bay. My husband doesn't work that way. You have to go to the place. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
like,
you have to start. You got to start small. You got to start at high school.
yeah, so small, whatever. But yeah, there's a different level of hearing loss. There's like, I mean, you can hear my son is hard of hearing. He lost his hearing during a car crash. So, but he could hear without earrings. But when he had the earrings on, it helped him focus in school.
Hmm.
So he had earrings for school. But when he got home from school, he take them off, he put them back on if he wanted to watch a movie,
Right.
something on YouTube.
So wait, he was not hard of hearing until he had an accident?
Yep.
That is a
The
crazy,
impact. Because
that's
the
amazing. That's
impact
a crazy
was
story.
it's a really long story. I'll try to sum it up. It was about 9 years ago. I was living in the south in Mississippi for school. I talked for the school for the docs down there. We were coming home from a lake or a beach, and we got damaged between two cars. And my son was the most critical of all of us. My husband had a gash on his eyebrow and a little bit of a deeper gash. I have wounds on my knees and my calf and a little bit of a deeper gash. My daughter had a deeper gash and a little bit of a wound on her shin. My son got hit in the head.
Oh my gosh.
Like what the deed goes back with the impact
Right.
or whatever. So he was critically injured with multiple skull fracture, traumatic brain injury, and
Oh man.
everything. So yeah, I mean the force of the impact or whatever. I think I'm trying to remember. Like it was on the back onto the left side. So of course the brain works on opposite.
Right.
So now his right side is weak. The muscle and the mobility, and the impact with the ear. Apparently, something in the ear like the cloaca or something that keep the hearing or whatever not working. The cloaca, the hair stops moving, and that's the main part of inside the ear. So
I
it's
just think
not really.
it's so interesting that you're already in that community and then you were like the perfect
Yeah,
person to help him. There's a
yeah.
story
And
there.
he
There's
knew
that you
basic sign
gotta
language.
yeah,
He
you gotta
knew
write about
basic
that.
sign language before too.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
you need to write that. That's an
yeah,
incredible coincidence.
yeah. It's in
But
my
and
book.
it yeah,
That
okay,
is in my
good.
book. So
Yeah. That's amazing. That's just something so interesting that if there was anyone to help somebody through that change in their lives, that you were the perfect person as
yeah.
just as his mom, but also from your background. It's incredible. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, he is great. He's thriving. I mean, he takes swim lessons, horse therapy. He recently last week broke a board in his taekwondo class, and he's like
How
five
old is he?
years in taekwondo. He is smart. I mean, sometimes it's scary. It's like, how are you so smart? I mean, you're smarter than me even, and I'm a teacher. So he surprises me every day. Same with my daughter too. They're both unique in different ways, but yeah, he's just I don't know, my hero, and he's just thriving. I mean, because
That's
we
great.
fought for him from day one up
Right.
until now, and we're gonna keep fighting for him too, for high school and college, just to make sure he's safe and get everything he needs. Yep,
Yeah. How old is he?
the 13. I have
Okay.
I have 15, will be 15 in October, and I have 13. So
See,
yeah.
my son is 16, so I'm right there with you on the
Yeah.
puberty and hormones and just like,
Oh my
you
God.
know,
Once my son was going through puberty, I didn't realize he changed his voice. It was so funny because I the whole time recognizing or anything. Unless it's really quiet, I would notice. But it was just like whatever. I was like, because so many things happening. Funny story, we had an IDP for him at the end of the school year. And when everybody was like, Taylor, what you want from us? How can we help you with eighth grade? Finishing up middle school, preparing yourself for high school. And then he was right next to me, so everybody was quiet. My interpreter was across the room, and he started talking. I'm just like, what? I was like, I'm sorry, but this is the first time I actually recognized and noticed his voice change. I need a moment.
oh
They're
my
like,
gosh.
it was
Oh,
okay. I'm like, oh, okay, keep on talking,
oh,
Taylor. I'm just like, and my husband was like, he changed his voice changed like maybe a month ago. I'm like, hi, I'm more deaf than you. Only I would notice, would not notice. Thank you.
that's
So,
so amazing. That's great. Yeah, you do have a lot to write about.
yeah, yeah. Oh, before I wrap up the podcast, is there any questions? Quiet. Is there any questions or comments you want to share before we wrap up?
No, I mean, I just want to thank everybody for that watches your podcast for watching Hallmark, and I want to thank you for bringing me on. You guys are the absolute key to every success. I wouldn't be here without the fans and the people that take so much time to get so involved and do these podcasts and get to know everybody. And that's the reason that Hallmark feels like such a family, is because of you guys and this whole community of the podcasters and the writers. And that's just that's a rare thing in Hollywood, to have the people feel like the family, like everyone is kind of in it together. That's why I love it so much, really. Is just that is such a rare and wonderful thing that I don't take for granted.
Well, thank you. Yes, I agree with you. I mean, writer, director, actor, band, everything is like one big family, and it's amazing how everybody, one or another, from a different background or different career, come together to support each other in fun times, exciting times, rough times, and that's what Hallmark is all about. Because
Yep.
some of these movies really helped me through some difficult times, like grief or loss or Green Bay's out of the playoffs. I just turned over to the holiday touchdown. I'm okay until next season. You know what I mean? So there's different kinds of movies to help each other with different kinds of ups and downs in life. So thank you for being part of that, writing terrific movies.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Julie, for your time coming on to the Cat Chat podcast. For the people out there, make sure to check out her movie she's written, the Barcelona movies, and of course, the blockbuster movie of 2024, which was the holiday touchdown, a cheap love story. And keep coming up, holiday touchdown, a brilliant love story. Who knows what that will bring?
I have no idea.
No, I'm shocked. I was like, I told my husband about that movie. I was like, now, are you going to sit down and watch the Hallmark movie with me because it's Buffalo Bill?
Of
He's like,
course.
maybe. I'm like, what if Josh Allen's in the movie? What if the coach is in the movie, your favorite people? He goes, maybe.
He'll watch
No,
it.
no,
He'll watch it.
no, Tyler's not in the band. Don't worry about Tyler. Someone else is in that movie.
Exactly. I'm sure it'll be great.
I'm sure. I'm looking forward. I'm just looking forward to the day they come to holiday touchdown the Green Bay love story. So
I
thank
hope
you God
so.
for that. Well, again, thank you, Julie. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.